You guys just announced recently your main themes, including the whiteout. And
Yeah.
Based on comments that you've made and also James, there was a lot of conversations with various stakeholders about that. So what made you guys think about Washington?
All right, let me explain the process. So we don't land on any game. I think we all know what we would choose if we were going to choose a whiteout game. This year became a little more difficult because of the three networks and the draft process. So the networks have a draft, so they get first pick. I think it's Fox. I don't know how it actually goes. We really don't know how. I don't know enough about the details of it. They picked the first slate of games that came out. Ohio State, Michigan, the noon kick game. And then it was going to a 12-day window. So that became a problem for us because of how big the whiteout is. Look, it is the best, I believe, sporting event of the year. It's remarkable. Our fans show out. I mean, I don't even have to say anything about it. Wherever we go in the country, everyone talks about the whiteout. So Tony and Kerry and the Big Ten really kind of helped us. We knew that Fox could not take, or we worked with Fox to not take the Washington game at noon. So we don't know yet if it's going to be a 3:30 kick or a 7. So that is not yet determined either. That will go to the traditional 12-day window, or if it gets shrunk to 6. But we had to get something out, as our fans know. So this will be the latest. This is a late whiteout. We would typically like to have it sooner. To Tony's credit, though, he understands the importance of that game for us, for our fans, and so we're already starting to work on a process to make that a little bit more smooth. So that was the saga of the whiteout.
Do you think the fans kind of understand all that you just said? Because what I mean. But is there any message to the fans about it? Because I know they would prefer it be in Michigan or Ohio State at night, but I don't think they understand all that goes into it.
No, and I get it. Honestly, I didn't really. I knew that the TV selects. I understand that. This year was a little unique, like I said. I get where the fans are. We all want that. We were just at a retreat, and I was telling someone the Ohio State game where the block. I don't know how the building still stands like that environment. And Minnesota and Iowa were great atmospheres, right? And so, yes, the opponent would be great. The night piece is critical, just from my 2 years here. And so it's hard. Now we're getting a better chance, more games, you're usually going to get these high-end games now in that window. I do believe the process will get a little bit easier now. Every time I say that, though, then whatever, right? We're not opening up the Big Ten season at home, guys. Give me that one, all right? No, but I get it. I get this. I do get the fans' perspective, and trust me, I would be lying to you if I said that James, myself, our staff, everybody around us was frustrated. We were getting questions from everybody, and it's hard to be like, I don't have an answer. I legitimately don't have an answer. So, but it is a difficult thing to understand, and the Fox window at noon is huge. That is a big window. For the network, for the conference. So.
Pat, speaking of fan reactions, there are fans who wonder how you justify spending $700 million on a stadium renovation. Some of us who have been around and seen other stadiums may have a better feel for that.
Yeah. Right.
When people ask that, or if you see that criticism, what is your response?
I think it's a good question to ask. There is no other option. So the building has to be. We have to fix critical care issues in that building. It's just the reality. Money was pulled back from deferred maintenance on that building for a decade. It's a very special building. I've said this to you all. I love Beaver Stadium. And I think to keep Beaver Stadium, we have to invest in it. You all know more than most. The press box. That thing cannot stay much longer, right? I'm talking to the people who live it every, Saturday. That's $100 million on the low end to replace. Where do you find revenue for that? And so we're trying to, number one, we cannot dismiss the experience that people have in the building. So circulation is a big issue that we have to fix. We're fixing it right now with the southeast, northeast corners with escalators. We need the revenue to come off that building to pay for the renovation. That's where we don't have enough we don't have enough premium, and we actually lost an event, a big event, because we didn't have premium, and that has to be a part of it. And we're expanding concourses. We're getting rid, like the two northeast southeast corners that we came out. It's hard to look in the images and see what it is. More concessions, more bathrooms, but there's a pinch point in those two places that anyone in that east concourse knows. To get around on any game, it's just tight. The concourse, we're doubling the concourse. So I understand the 7. It's also expensive to build in Happy Valley. Just saying. And so all of that told, it wasn't like we just threw a dart and said, hey, this is what it is. That's what it costs to do what we need to do to get the building up healthy and alive again, and then to fix a lot of the other issues. And then when you do that, you got to pay for it. And the premium is the way. The West Side premium is going to help us pay for it.
And to follow up on that, there was some pushback from certain members of the board, but overall it seemed like the backing was really strong. What did that mean to you to have that sort of backing to what you guys are doing?
It was great. I mean, for the majority of the board has been incredibly supportive for us, and they understand it. I mean, they're privy to a lot more information, right? Like, we walk the process through them. Here's what it is. We did a tour of Beaver Stadium with them. So we walked them through like every inch of that building. We walked them into the press box, and I think most of them had never stepped foot in the press box. So we were able to show, we have one kitchen. There's 107,000 people in there. Okay, so bathroom situations and how that looks on game day, how tight you gotta really, you all see it on a regular. And I think it's hard sometimes for fans to kind of, because they're used to their kind of how I get in and this is what, but when you really get a good look at the whole building and what we need to do, that's it. But it was great. The support's been amazing. And we're starting to roll now. Like you saw some of the stuff come out this week.
I'm going to piggyback on the stadium in that, 6 of the last 8 years, you guys, Penn State's finished in the top 12, which means they're a real strong candidate to host a first-round game in December. Is the stadium on schedule for that?
Yeah, we're good to go.
With all, and what are some of the things that had to be done to,
the winterization was the biggest piece. We literally shut it down completely when that game ends and everything. There's no more running water in it. I mean, like you would assume, right? But no, and people, I think if you really look at it, you'll see how the pipes were. You'll see some of the cosmetic stuff, the painting of the ceiling, the rust. Like, y'all gotta understand, like, people have rust falling on their food. Guys, what are we talking about? Like, the pipes you'll see it there if you really look. But yeah, we're ready to go. We'll be ready to go.
In terms of the things, excuse me, that you just put out as a part of the latest construction release, do you feel like all of that will be done before the home opener, or will that be done in pieces throughout the regular?
No, so the platforms will be done. What I'll tell you is, I don't know the escalators, for example, the permitting and all that. We really are shooting by the Illinois game to have it all completely done. Obviously, the cement and everything and all the concessions and bathrooms and stuff like that. Our super ribbon board, the extended ribbon board, I'm not going to say that will be ready to go, but for the most part, everything will be up and running. It's just it's just doing construction nowadays, right? We're trying to hit a mark, but it's a moving target with just getting equipment in and permitting and all the other things. But they're moving really quick. I mean, even myself watching it every day, I mean, they're moving fast. So they're doing a great job.
You've been open about wanting to use Beaver Stadium for events other than Penn State football. There was some talk among media and fans late spring, early summer about wrestling potentially having the building built. Is that something
my man Carter
that's been discussed?
We talk about everything. I do think so. Take the wrestling, for example. We'd love to do it. I think it'd be uber successful, obviously, in our program. When you have the best program in the world and some of the greatest athletes in the world. But there's just logistics that you have to figure out. You're putting on a totally different environment, in an unpredictable, and when their season is really getting rolling, we're starting to get into weather that, as we all know, can be quite unpredictable. And so there's just different issues there that we have to deal with. But we've looked at everything. Like there is nothing that is off the table to put into Beaver Stadium. It's becoming a lot easier now with the renovations and the ease of it all. The concert was great. I got goosebumps. I will tell you this, like, our fans are so incredible, and we look at just football game day, but if you look at my 2 years here, I tell everybody about hockey is sold out, and our baseball crowds, obviously Dollar Dogs helps, but the baseball crowds have been great. Basketball, the rec game, rec hall game, the volleyball, men's and women's, lacrosse. So our fans are so amazing. So like, I gotta be honest, when we did Luke, I was nervous because the weather wasn't the best day, and I got goosebumps coming up and looking at the whole thing when he took the stage. It was like, I don't know why I would ever think anything less. Like, our fans are just incredible. So we keep asking, we keep looking for any event that we can do in there.
David Taylor's contract came out, making over $1 million a year and getting $1 million signing bonus. Have you guys talked to Cael at all? Are there any implications what that means for his contract or any potential extension?
I haven't talked to him since that came out. In fact, I chuckled when I saw that. Cael's, to be honest, they're locked and loaded for Paris. But no, Cael and I talk all the time. Cael is so focused on what is important right now. When we'll continue to talk. Cael is, everyone knows how I feel about Cael. Like, we haven't talked contract extension. If he wanted to talk contract extension today, we would talk contract extension. And he isn't wired that way, which is such an amazing trait that he has. I mean, he's just solely focused, and I'm not disrupting what they're doing, right? But we're happy for David, one of ours. But I'm gonna just tell you, we're the best wrestling program in the world. They can have whoever they want. Good luck, David. Second place is cool, but Penn State wrestling.
When it comes to Penn State football and NIL,
Yeah.
the last 12 months since you last were out here, could you kind of evaluate maybe what's happened in the last year or so, and in terms of maybe when it comes to, you're kind of really building a roster really with it a little bit with the way things are going nationally. What kind of progress have you guys made? What's changed? And what do you think needs to change?
Well, so the House case is huge because rev shares is coming. We just don't know to what extent it will look as it's. I think Tony said today, and last I heard, they're going to file by the end of next week, maybe. There will be a cap that will change, and we're trying to figure out, okay, is it 22 million or what's the real number? Which we'll be all in. We're going to be. We'll do it to the whatever max we can. NIL becomes much better from my perspective because we can help far more now. And what you're going to see, I think, hopefully later this week, we're going to roll out something that we've really been working on for about 12 months. It's called Roar Solutions, and we're basically building a marketing agency. And so for all of our athletes and internal, now that we can be directly involved to help them set up with certain, whether it's Playfly Max, which just came out, we're putting boots on the ground there. We will continue every one of the new Playfly sponsorships. I mean, people are asking about it now. We're going to work with LeVar and Disrupt You. He's helping us from an NIL. By the way, it's marketing. This NIL has such this negative connotation. It's brand marketing for our athletes. Our brand academy is all over it. So we're putting together this plan that becomes so much easier. You guys have seen, for 2 years we've been together, we talk about it. Like, it's just so unnerving about the collectives and what was happening and what you could say, what you couldn't say. You say the wrong thing and you're in trouble. And now it's very much cleaned up. And so for me, extremely excited. One other thing that I am excited about with the House case, scholarship limits go away. So, wrestling has 10 scholarships. Baseball has, I think it's 12. We now, the power of Penn State, the ability to go out and raise the money to go put more of our athletes on scholarship, that is a huge, huge advantage for us. That's perfect for us. And I think that change alone becomes really, really important because a lot of it for a lot of our athletes, and from the very beginning, NIL was doing that. The NIL numbers were helping them pay for school. for a lot of our kids. And now we're able to go raise money, and it is actually scholarship dollars, which is huge. And so I think that's a major advantage for us.
We tend to ask you about a lot of the same things every year, including me. What are some of the biggest challenges on your plate that people may not know about?
Ooh, you guys are pretty good.
Like this is one of the challenges, is that what you're saying?
No. No, I'm trying to think. I mean, we're pretty. I think. So, we've been really aggressive in the 2 years. So we've got $100 million of projects going on right now as we speak. We're under construction for the bubble, Jeffrey Field, East area. Lash is finishing up like this week. Greenberg, our sports performance dining. Like, I think for me, it's just making sure that that's all lining up. We've got the fundraising and all that's done. They're off and running in construction. And so I feel like we can put a bow on those, get them finished, and then focusing right now on this new world with the house settlement and and then finishing design of Beaver and getting Beaver up and running. Like we're just not ready to show or get out there and with what it's going to look like because we're just not there yet. That's coming. Like that's a lot of what we're working through. And the other thing, I hope I'm transparent. I just think we're right there. So I don't know how many KP could probably tell you. We had almost all of our sports hit the postseason. But now I talk to them. I was like, we've got to go. We had 2 years ago we got to the 2 Final Fours. We got to be tough. That's like Penn State and our kids I think are really understanding that. Like this I think is going to be a really special year for us. But I think that's been our focus is to continue to keep giving the resources to the student athletes so that we can continue to make chop wood and help Erica. Soccer's crazy, right? It hits a post at Clemson and we don't get in it, right? And that team can win it. She can win a national championship every year. Jeff can win a national championship every year. Both Jeffs in lacrosse and in soccer. There were so many things like that. Like our gymnastics, Sarah, beating Michigan at Michigan and competing in the NCAA. So long-winded, I think it's constantly trying to evaluate how do we get better just a little bit every year. And I feel we're in a good place. But those are the kind of things right now. And then, there's always something. Something always comes up.
You talked about all that postseason success. What does success look like for men's basketball this year? Because you mentioned almost all your teams make the postseason. They didn't this past year.
Yeah.
You can turn teams a little quick in the transfer portal era. How do you kind of evaluate Mike Rhodes maybe on that curve?
Well, I think Mike's done. I thought this year Mike did a great job. I mean, you come in and you and I've talked about it. Like you have 3 players, and you got to build a roster. I think with Mike, I'm excited about this team. I thought they did a remarkable job in the offseason in the portal. We're long, we're athletic. I think Mike would tell you the Big Ten's a physical conference, right? And I think you have to go through it to appreciate how physical the Big Ten is. And Mike and I talked about that often. So I think we're positioned very well. I think we got a shot. Every year we're going in to make the NCAA tournament. Like that's the expectation, right? And so where the chips fall, how seasons go, right? Like remember now, Micah, we hit 2 buzzer beaters at the end of the year to get in, right? That has to happen sometimes. So I think Rhodesy and where the team is moving, and I think that's it. Make the tournament because then once you get in, anything can happen, right? Then you got to get in a rhythm. But that's our, and I think he's got. I really like this roster. I think the leadership coming back with Ace and those guys, and having a year through the Big Ten was really important. So I'm excited for that.
You mentioned the resources given to the athletes. Jordan Hill being hired as a life skills
that's
coach.
great.
I wanted to ask you about that. And then also I was made aware of the sensory room that started at Beaver Stadium last year. So a resource really for the fans as well. If you could maybe kind of talk about.
Well, Jordan's been huge. He has had a huge impact. James has done a really nice job of bringing different generations of the program into the program, and I think you tell anybody, you go to anyone in that building right now, Jordan's been around maybe for less than a month, and he's already had an instant impact. I mean, he's obviously played at a high level. He's been in the high school space, and so really happy about that. I mean, we brought Mouty in for development. I think that perspective is really good. We've got to keep moving forward, but I think getting the Penn State perspective is important. The sensory room, look, our fans are why we are who we are. And we have the greatest base in all of sport. The renovations, we talked about it earlier. A lot of that is about them. Like, I think they deserve, I believe in my heart that they deserve a better, we just got to fix them. Like, come on, like, what are we talking about? Like, we can give them something better to be a part of. And so the sensory room was one of the things that we did. I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a bunch of those little things that happen throughout the year that we do. But as I alluded to earlier, all the credit is about our fans and how do we make different. And we have staff with young babies and kids, and like you hear the moms trying to get in, and so we try to create entrances for them to get in a little bit easier when you're carrying the bag in, right? Or one of the things I noticed, I mean, obviously our parking is so vast. How do we help people getting in? It's like there's just those things that like we should be doing it. Like that's our job. Now we're not always going to be perfect, but we're trying to continue to evolve, and so it's a process every year to just keep doing those types of things.
Do you think 18 is enough in the Big Ten?
You know what, man? But I do, but I don't. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Expansion, how it happens, and I do think the water it's calmed down for now. I believe that. I will tell you that. I think we're still trying to figure out how to get to SC. So let me just tell you from my perspective, I hope the waters have calmed down. I do. I really do. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to watch. Everyone talks football. I'm interested to watch basketball, volleyball. Like it's going to be an interesting, and it's going to be an exciting. You know, as a traditional Big Ten guy, it's funny to see like Oregon. You're not used to seeing it here, right? You know, and SC and. But it'll be a great trip out to LA. I'm excited. I think it'll be really cool. But I think 18. I mean, if I had told you that, I mean, first day of my job, they're like, "Hey, we're voting for SC and UCLA." What? There's others. Let me just say, I'm happy I'm in the Big Ten. What were you gonna say?
So there's been a lot of talk about private equity getting involved in athletics. Where do you stand on that?
Why would I give up my money? I love this private equity. They basically are saying that we're dumb. We don't know how to run our business. But you got to give money back to private equity. They don't just give you money. So when we're in the Big Ten, can someone guarantee me my Big Ten revenue every year? But like, why would Penn State take private equity money? I got 94,000 season ticket holders. We sell out hockey. We sell out wrestling. I got the best fan base in the country. Why do I need private equity? Someone tell me I'm stupid? I have enough people around me to tell me I'm stupid. I know. It's an interesting, you're going to hear it, I bet, these next 2 days. But honestly, like, okay, you want to know what they say? Hey, you go play Penn State, play SC, play Michigan, play Ohio State. This will be better for TV, blah, blah, blah. You play all the, oh, great. Like, what are we talking about? Like, rocket science. You know, and I think there's I get it's hard right now because of the money that's being thrown around and being talked about. I have 833 student athletes. They are students. And I get that NIL has changed the game. But at the end of the day, they're 18 to 22, because Cliff's gone and not 33 anymore, my man. But they're 18 to 22-year-olds. Private equity runs businesses. I am a business. I'm not disputing that. We're $200+ million. But my business is to take care of my kids. And if you look at a balance sheet, half the stuff we do, you would never do. But I want my fencing team to win a national championship. I want my gymnasts to win a national championship. They need to get an education. We need to take care of them as human beings and help them grow through this process. And I'm not sitting here saying that we are not a big business. We have to create revenue. We have to do things to drive the finances of it all. But these are college kids. and they're going to make mistakes, and we're here to catch them, and we're here to help them, and we're going to do that the whole way. You start bringing other people in, they're trying solely to just make a profit, the soul and the heart of college sports is going to go away. And I know people are saying that right now with all the, but at the end of the day, when I sit with our guys here, and they go to St. Elmo's and they order 9 steaks, and they're excited like any other 21-year-old going to. I didn't go to like I was. That's what it's about, right? So the private equity, yeah, you got on it. You knew what to get me going on. But no, it's good. I appreciate you guys. I'm trying to think. Hey, I do want to say this. We got 33 Penn Staters in the Olympics with ties to us. So I wish all of them so much luck. We're excited. We're going to obviously wish them the best with some videos. But I just wanted to say that publicly. It's really, really cool. It's really impressive to be at a place where there's so many. Like the Olympics take on a totally different light now. Like my kids and Annie and Joseph and I were like, oh my gosh, like we're like watching it to watch it. Like we're rooting for them. So like I get it's America, but like they're all over the place. And so I really appreciate that, and I think we're having a great year. I think we're really poised for a really, really good year, up top to bottom. So I appreciate you all, though. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
See you guys.